Another crypto company just declared bankruptcy. This time it's Celsius, which, if you're thinking, sounds like deja vu, I'm sorry, you're not in a Denzel Washington movie. This is unfortunately the actual cursed timeline, where for some reason the summer trend isn't socks and Crocs, it's billion-dollar crypto companies going bust in the worst financial recession of the decade. Now, some of you guys might remember just days ago I reported on Voyager declaring Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and today the story is that Celsius said, I'll have what he's having, but with a twist. Instead of a Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which sounds bad, Celsius filed for Chapter 11 protection and financial restructuring, which just means that they're bankrupt. It means the same thing. It's kind of like when I was in high school working fast food, I told people, I'm not a fry cook, I'm a thermal food engineer. But it didn't change the fact that I was serving fries. You know, now that I think about it, me in high school and Celsius, the billion-dollar company, have more in common than I thought. We both are broke and don't want to admit it.
Boom. Roasted.
And the point that I'm trying to make is that Celsius is doing the same thing that Voyager did. In fact, they're doing it down to the T. They actually hired the exact same lawyer that Voyager did, according to their filings. That's right, Sussberg is back. And honestly, he's kind of becoming my mortal enemy at this point. It's like his bat signal is whenever people lose money, and his superpower is arguing that they never owned it in the first place. I mean, this is honestly what these companies are doing, what these lawyers are arguing, that the customers never owned the crypto that they bought in the first place. They were just lending it out for some reason. And I would love to talk you through Chapter 11 bankruptcy and why Celsius does not qualify, because they've clearly sold securities according to state regulators, but that's not really the point of this video. As I said, we've done that before, and I don't want to do it again. Instead, I want to focus on the uniqueness of this case and the unique ways that Celsius has screwed over investors. So with that in mind, let's talk about HODL. You might have heard this term before, actually. Crypto bros say it a lot, and it means hold on for dear life. It's a way of encouraging people not to sell their crypto at a loss. And it turns out Celsius loved this, and they leaned into it. They had something called HODL mode in their app. Basically, it was a way for investors to put a child lock on their accounts, basically freeze it for at least 24 hours. And Celsius pushed this a lot to customers, not just early on, but after they suspended withdrawals too. That's right, after they froze people's assets, they asked people to freeze their own assets. According to reports, they were pushing engaging HODL mode as a sign of support for Celsius during these dark times. Now, to be clear, this is a bit like asking a guy you just put in jail to voluntarily handcuff themselves to the bed right afterwards. I mean, nobody's getting out anyways, but Celsius's argument was, hey, we can unfreeze withdrawals if you guys just all freeze your accounts voluntarily. I mean, this really was their logic. We can't go bankrupt if you guys never withdraw your money. And maybe this is just a testament to how desperate their community was, that a lot of people even bought into this, although some saw it for what it was. But the ironic thing is, despite pushing HODL mode all the time, you know someone who didn't actually practice what they preached? Alex Mashinsky, the CEO of Celsius. That's right, guys. In a move that no one saw coming, the C-suite turned out to be hypocrites. It turns out that according to a report by Arkham Intelligence, which, yes, is a Batman reference, but is no less a made-up name than Coffeezilla, so I'm not going to make fun of it. At least it's not Sussberg or something. But anyway, Arkham Intelligence released a report about Alex Mashinsky, and they showed that he had a pattern of pumping and dumping Celsius tokens while telling people publicly that he was hodling them. In fact, Alex tweeted about this in October of 2021. Lots to celebrate here in London. Busy week with lots of deals and events. It pays to hodl. Now, it turns out that same day, Alex sold $69,000 worth of crypto. Whoops. 2 months later, more of the same. Quote, all Celsius network founders have made purchases of Cell and are not sellers of the token. Now, mysteriously, this non-seller of the token, Alex, this hodler, managed to sell $16 million worth of Celsius, all while telling his fans that he wasn't selling. But maybe even worse than Alex profiting from what may have been a profitable company was the revelation that Celsius may never have been profitable at all. Turns out, according to insider leaks, they were actually really bad at making any money at all, which gives more credence to the Ponzi scheme claim that we've been hearing a lot. And I know sometimes you guys accuse me of being the one to say Ponzi scheme this, Ponzi scheme that in crypto, which, recently I have been saying a little bit because there's been a lot of Ponzi schemes. But this time it's not me saying it, okay? This is the head of DeFi staking at Celsius that just accused Celsius of being a Ponzi scheme. He just got revealed. His name is Jason Stone. And the reason he revealed his identity is because he just sued Celsius. Like I said, in his court filings, he calls them directly a Ponzi scheme. And guys, this is the head of DeFi staking. There's no one bigger than this guy who could give a more insider take than the head of DeFi staking. He's the guy saying, hey, they're not actually making the money. Now, look, I'm not going to say Jason Stone is some altruistic guy here. In the lawsuit, he's clearly looking to be paid. Not to mention, it does appear that he got some NFTs from Celsius in the form of a paycheck. So his judgment must be questioned on that account alone. But his story does kind of make sense, which is basically the argument that Celsius was not profitable, which is something we've heard time and time again. And it's the argument that even when they knew they weren't profitable, they continued to market high rates of return as a way of getting more investments into their system to pay out the first investors. And then they told these new investors to lock up their money in the Celsius system with this HODL mode. All the while, the founders sold off for millions. So for all of those reasons, I'm out. And the lesson of the story today is that, sometimes it doesn't pay to HODL.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the $10 million studio. Let me say up top, this investigation will contain potential money laundering, unregulated offshore gambling, and worst of all, influencers.
This is $1 million video. I just realized I spent $600,000 on watches. I lost $200,000 to 6ix9ine, $60,000 in private plane, $20,000 on hotels in Mexico, $100,000 on Rolex and cars. It feels good to be a winner.
This is the first in a 6-part series in collaboration with Some Ordinary Gamers. It's exposing the secret world of unregulated offshore crypto gambling and how influencers have become filthy rich by being the gasoline on the fire, promoting it around the world and making it into the billion-dollar phenomenon it is globally. Now, I'll be honest, when I first started looking at this, I had no idea about any of that. The reason I'm actually here starts off the way all great stories start, with Twitter beef. All right, here's how this went down. I had been hearing for a while about how online unregulated crypto casinos were hiring some of the biggest influencers in the world to promote them and then would pay them for every fan they got to sign up. And not only that, every time their fans would lose money to the casino, the influencer would make a cut on those losses. Now, I thought this was insane, and I said, enough's enough. It's time to act. So I tweeted about it. Quote, just found out that the top gambling streamers are getting paid a percentage of their signups losses. So not only are streamers getting paid to promote gambling to their fans, they're literally incentivized for their fans to lose as much as possible. How do these people sleep at night? Now, normally I expect my tweets to go into the great void of Jack's armpit, but this time I guess one of those gambling streamers actually saw it and he responded. Steve will do it. Now, I can't imagine why he felt singled out by my tweet, but he was pissed off that I would accuse him of profiting off the losses of his fans. He told me, hey, you broke moron, do your research. Roobet's affiliate program has nothing to do with losing. It's about the bet. Roobet is different than other gambling websites. Do your research, you broke moron, before you post like this publicly. Given his thoughtful response, I thought, hey, maybe I made a mistake. So I went back and checked Roobet's affiliate terms. And it turns out he's right. Roobet doesn't give influencers a percentage of their fans' losses. Roobet gives their influencers a percentage of the mathematical odds of their fans losing. This is straight from Roobet's page. Affiliates receive a commission of 5% of the mathematical house edge on all their referrals wagers, with that percentage increasing as the referrer climbs the tiers. And if you're thinking right now, wow, that sounds like basically exactly the same thing, it is the exact same thing, just with a little ethical distancing. It's kind of clever, actually, because now, instead of being directly tied to their fans' losses, they can plead innocent. They're still profiting from their fans, but, in that indirect economic percentage sort of way. It's kind of like saying, no, I didn't bomb those Syrian kids. I just sent the drone that did. It's the exact same thing. It just sounds a little bit better. But anyways, we fired back and forth a few times. He eventually deleted his responses, but something he said always stuck with me. And no, it wasn't the part about him sleeping very well at night, living in a penthouse, knowing that I change people's lives every day and I'm rich. It wasn't even, hey, you broke loser. It was actually this. Do your research, which is why this series now exists. And Steve Will Do It legally can't be mad about it because technically he's the one who asked for this. So, yeah, Steve, this one's for you. Now, I want to be clear, ladies and gentlemen. A small sense of vindictiveness is not why I'm telling you this story today. It is a small reason, okay? I'll admit that. But it would have never carried me through this investigation, which had so many dead ends. What actually hooked me and kept me going on this investigation was a single question. How is this video possible? It shouldn't exist. To explain what I mean, let's go to the board because I got to explain a little more about Steve Will Do It for a little context. Steve is a member of Nelk, an insanely popular YouTube channel known for their pranks, like trying to use Monopoly money at a casino. Kind of weird foreshadowing, to be honest. But they generally make fun, popular videos with a lot of money being thrown around. Cars being gifted, partying, that kind of thing. But the money I was seeing thrown around, specifically in Steve Will Do It's videos, was too much. It didn't make any sense. Like every video, it was private jets, buying exotic cars, giving away hundreds of thousands of dollars. And going off my experience with YouTube, I knew something was off. See, remember that video I mentioned, the $1 million one? It only had 4.3 million views. And in that video, he really does spend $1 million.
This is a $1 million video, I just realized.
By contrast, the only other YouTuber in the world I know of that can afford that kind of spending is Mr. Beast, who regularly gets 50 plus million views on a video. And there's always a sponsor on those videos to recoup some of that cost. But here's the weird thing. On Steve's video, with 10 times fewer views, there's no sponsor. And that's how so many of his videos are. He's throwing around money like Mr. Beast, but he has a fraction of the views, and he's not sponsored. So it begs the question, where's this massive cash flow coming from? Is Steve Will Do It the son of a Saudi prince? Like, this dude seems to have endless amounts of cash, oil baron amounts of cash. And at first, I thought, okay, wait a second, Happy Dad, their new alcohol company, right? But it can't be that, because this spending predates that. Well, maybe it's merch then. That's the Nelk Boys thing, right? They pull in $70 million a year selling their merch. Maybe selling hats is how Steve affords to live like the son of a president. And I would have thought that, but right as I was about to give up, someone gave me a helping hand on a drunken live stream. Let's bring down the board here.
I've figured out other ways to make money. So I'm not big because I feel like a baller right now. I don't take private planes. I don't buy $300,000 watches. I don't buy whatever. But today I just bought a $200,000 Sprinter. It's badass. It's like, I don't do that from selling t-shirts, dude. It's actually impossible. I've figured out, I've gotten financial advice, this and that, from my two buddies. They've helped me out. So it's like, they own WizUp. So it's like, they've helped me make so much money to where I don't even want anything.
Wow. When I saw this, I thought to myself, is this guy confessing? He talks about getting financial advice from someone that changed his life. Like, from who? Who is it, Steve? Help us. Is it Warren Buffett? Did you get advice from Max Kaiser? I mean, honestly, from the way he's talking, whatever this magical financial advice is, it dwarfs Nelk's merch business.
I don't do that from selling t-shirts, dude. It's actually impossible.
So what is this financial secret? What is this
knowledge?
Immediately, I started hunting around. At first, I couldn't find much. Just more evidence that Steve Will Do It, of all people, is more loaded than possibly any other YouTuber in the world right now. Just watch this answer to a question about finances from Steve-O's podcast.
What is your mission?
To be a billionaire.
You're going to be a billionaire.
All right.
To be a billionaire, yeah.
Do you have a timeline for that?
3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years?
Damn.
What? Wait a second. 3 to 5 years? He's not even saying that ironically or as a joke. He's like, yeah, what, 3 to 5 years? I don't know. I mean, whatever secret way he's talking about making money earlier, the kind of wealth that's impossible selling merch. That must be what we're missing here, the missing link. And I wasn't making much progress finding out how he was doing it. I realized I had to focus up. I got to set my ego aside. I got to make a change. There we go. I'm finally ready. What happened next was kind of hard to stomach. I spent the next several days watching enough Steve Will Do It content to make my eyes bleed. But finally, all my work paid off. I finally found the episode where Steve once again mentions his friend who made him so much money.
Alfonso has helped me a lot, with some financial like making good financial moves, money moves. I'm forever grateful for him, and I'm gonna gift him a Richard Mille. It's so unique. He has a bunch of Richard Milles, but this one's like a unique one.
Okay, so we actually learned something here. One, this Alfonso guy, Steve's special friend who helped him, he must be loaded, right? Because if he has a collection of Richard Mille watches that regularly cost hundreds of thousands of dollars individually, a collection would mean he's at least worth several $1 million minimum. Now at this point, I'm imagining several different possible candidates for this mentor of Steve's. Obviously, Ty Lopez being the first one. But I was completely wrong. The financial wizard behind the curtain is shockingly young.
So this is Alfonso. And
Wait, this guy? He looks like your average frat bro in his mid-20s. But even as that was like breaking my brain, things started to make even less sense. Pay attention to what he calls Alfonso just a bit later in this clip. I'm going to let it play for a bit.
And this is Doom. 100% of the time, 365 days of the year, he wears a full send / Steve Will Do It / Happy Dad shirt. And Alan, 90...
Whoa. Did you catch that? He calls him...
Alan! And Alan...
And he does it again later, too.
This is Alan's beautiful girlfriend.
Alan again. Huh. Why would Steve Will Do It mislabel his friend? To find out, I called up a friend of mine who's been digging into this, the Third Eye himself, because we need to get to the bottom of who this mystery man is. Philion, thanks so much for taking the time. I know you've been looking into this. Who is this Alfonso guy? Or Alan, whoever it is?
All right, so I tracked it all down. His name is Alan. He's a 25-year-old multi-millionaire running the Los Angeles social media scene. He owns both Roobet and Wizza. You know Roobet, right?
Yeah, it's that online casino that Steve Will Do It and all those guys are gambling on, right?
Exactly, except it's offshore, unregulated, cryptocurrency-based, and it's not legal in the US. And they are raking in tens of millions of dollars per month.
Oh my gosh. Wait a second. You're saying Alan owns that along with Wizza as well?
Yep.
Those are some big accusations. How do you know it's this like frat bro behind it all? He doesn't have his name on it, right?
Well, he does have Roobet's name on himself. He's quite literally got a tattoo of it on his wrist, which he showcases above his Richard Mille, the $500,000 watches.
All the one that all the 25-year-olds own.
Yeah. I mean, I got two of them, but I got them also on the transitive property of Aiden Ross.
Wait, what do you mean? You got a clip for that or something?
Of course, let's roll it.
This house is sponsored by a company called like Wizza or some shit. I haven't paid rent at all, but I could do, and if you guys could literally help me come up with giveaways, like challenges and like last person to blah 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 gets blah 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 blah. Like I can literally promote it how I want to do it, how we want to do it. You guys can help me decide, like, yo, Aiden, you should do a giveaway where you're doing this. They're actually really cool dudes, bro. And they're just like me, like they own Roobet, they own that site, right?
Not only that, Roobet's Rocket Fund LLC is also registered to the exact same address as the Wizza Sweepstakes LLC, which is 930 Washington Avenue, Suite 205, Miami 33139.
Holy shit. It is the same guys. So when Steve Will Do It's talking about his friend who owns Wizza helping him out financially in life, he's talking about Roobet?
Yep, he's talking about Alan. And not only that, this guy Alan used to be part of the CSGO gambling scene back in the day under the name Arrow1738 until he shut down his YouTube channel with 40,000 subscribers, and now, since then, he's tried to stay in the dark.
It's the same scam all over again.
Exactly.
All right, I know that's been a lot, so we're going to recap real quick. So Steve Will Do It is like insanely loaded because of this guy whose name is Alfonso, but not Alfonso because that's actually an alias. His name is Alan, and he owns a sketchy giveaway company called Wizza, but also Roobet, which is an online gambling casino, which obviously gives us some context to why Steve Will Do It is defending Roobet so hard on Twitter. This is his golden goose. This is where his money is coming from. In fact, remember that $1 million video? I think we finally have the answer to that. It may not have been sponsored, but watching it again, there definitely was a sponsor in that video. This is definitely our guy. He's the reason for this lavish spending. But I also realized that this story might be bigger than just Steve. Yes, he's loaded. And I'm determined to find out how much money he's making from getting his fans to gamble at offshore, unregulated casinos. But there are many other influencers also promoting Roobet. You've got Nelk, Aiden Ross, Logan Paul's friend, Banks, and you also got Wizza. How does that play into this sketchy giveaway company? And what about Alfonso? There's just so much here. I think I got to make a call, honestly. All right, Mood, I'm passing this off to you. We need to do more research about Roobet. How does it work? How do you get paid? What's going on with all these LA influencers?
Oh, brother, I'm already on it. Look at this guy.
Boom! This deadly sleeper virus triggers Alzheimer's. Do-it-yourself cure for cancer dissolves deadly tumors in as little as 48 hours. Are you literally feeding cancer cells by putting this one food on your dinner plate? You asked me. How bad could it be? Here it is. Hello, welcome to Coffeezilla. Today we're talking about the senior scams that are going on around us. This is something I haven't focused on so much in my channel, but honestly, it's gotten so bad that we're going to talk about it. I've got my screen pulled up right here. Basically, I saw this the other day. Seniors lose more than $27 billion to elder fraud every year. Ugh. Obviously, we have people talking about some of these scams. We have like telemarketer scams are very common to be goofed on the internet.
Microsoft warning. You should know by now.
Do you not understand that you've just invested almost 2 hours of your time trying to scam someone?
But the stuff that I've kind of been surprised hasn't been covered are health scams. They haven't been that widely covered, and given that they're kind of everywhere, it's surprising to see that. So today we're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about them for your mama or whoever. So get them in here. Send your seniors this video. Get them in this video because I want to talk to them. I want to talk to your mama, your grandpa, your pop, your peepaw, your whatever you call them. Let's talk, because they're getting sent emails that try to scam them. Now, the reason you probably at home, you whippersnappers, haven't heard of this, and I hadn't heard of it up until very recently, is because these scams do a very good job of staying off the searchable internet. And I mean that literally. The only way you can find a lot of these things is they come through email. So you have to find your way onto this email list. They have these like health newsletter email lists. And then once they know you're the kind of person who's looking for alternative health cures, they go and they unload the crap, and try to get you into all this, try to basically milk you for all that you're worth. So you're saying to yourself, Stephen, how bad can it really be? Okay, let's just jump into this. Boom! Are you literally feeding cancer cells by putting this one food on your dinner plate? You asked me, how bad could it be? Here it is. Look at this. Can late-stage cancer really be cured with absolutely no radiation, no chemotherapy, no surgery, not even a pill, vitamin, or natural supplement? And is that cure as easy, as inexpensive as swapping one kind of food for another? Let me repeat that. Could cancer, even in stage terminal cancer, just be completely wiped out by just eating one food? Friends, I'm happy to say the answer is yes. So this is like this is just one example, some 27-page long thing to get you to buy this guy's book. Now, it's not simple. There's twists and turns. It's a long story to get you emotionally invested in this. But basically, this is snake oil. I mean, of course it's snake oil because the guy's saying that a food swap can cure any kind of cancer. Oh my gosh, that intro is hilarious. Can late stage cancer really be cured with absolutely no radiation, no chemotherapy, no surgery, not even a single pill, vitamin or natural supplement? Friends, I'm happy to say the answer is yes. Okay, this totally preys on people who have incurable diseases, and then you basically sell them a product. I know a lot of you are thinking nobody would ever fall for this. People fall for this all the time. And I think honestly, if you put yourself in, their shoes, you could probably see how it happens. Say your grandma Matilda, okay? Put yourself in her shoes. She's got incurable cancer. She's got every problem in the book. Some snake oil salesman sends her an email saying that it's all curable and gives her this incredible story. Well, I mean, they believe it. This is $1 billion industry. This scam right here, this kind of scam, this is $1 billion industry. And it's not illegal. Amazingly, it's not illegal, which is why I'm warning you guys about it. Because unlike a lot of other scams, which are illegal, like impersonating people, this is technically not illegal, amazingly. Go USA, USA #1. Because basically they skirt the lines of what's legal to say and what's not legal to say, and it's definitely riding that line of complete false advertising, but there's just no regulation over this industry. There's just none. So this is fine to say. Look at this, here's another one. Here's another one. This is getting your P-pop. The last one, Dr. Meemaw, this is your P-pop. This inexpensive natural treatment is believed to have saved Ronald Reagan's life, but went buried for more than 30 years. Oh, how convenient. Now, thanks to this amazing thing that you can only get for like however much this is, it was $50, $100, who knows. Only this thing will tell you the secret cure. Do-it-yourself cure for cancer dissolves deadly tumors in as little as 48 hours. Dissolve. See, stuff like as little as 48 hours, if you ever took them to court for this, they would say, well, we said as little as 48 hours. We didn't say it would dissolve them in 48 hours. We just said it could. So that's how they get around this stuff. It's just a bunch of wordplay, but basically they're stealing your seniors' money. So I just wanted to make you guys aware of it. And it all kind of follows the same formula, okay? Because they know the demographic, the older demographic. So let me tell you the formula. So they started up with like a shocking thing. So on a common pitch is this cure was hidden from America, from seniors. And it saved some famous person's life, like Ronald Reagan, right? Or let's go to this one. Look at this. Let's just jump around here. In 1944, a German scientist performing cancer research for Hitler made an amazing discovery. Did the Nazis bear a true cure for cancer? I did not see that coming. Basically, all these things follow the same formula. So again, same formula, even though it's just kind of, same formula. You try to hook the reader with some crazy claim about some famous person being related to some cure or something like that. Some incredible cure that was discovered but lost. Look at this. Found a priceless war relic covered up by our US government for 70 years. So that hooks you in, and then they introduce like a sob story about some hidden doctor who was never listened to, yada, yada, yada. And they have uncovered, and none of the mainstream establishment wants to cover this. And interestingly, they will never insult your doctor because these people are professionals at psychology. And they know that while you distrust the institution of pharmaceuticals and the institution of, medicine, you don't dislike your family doctor. So they'll always be kind about your family doctor, and they'll always bash the pharmaceutical industry. That's a kind of a funny quirk of like their sales letters. And they just load you up with all these buzzwords that make you think your cancer's curable and it's about to be cured. Look at this. Look at this here. I just have to scroll down and we'll find it. Erase cancerous tumors like they never existed in the first place, restoring your perfect health. Again, absurd. And yes, while young people might be able to see right through this stuff and see it for the snake oil that it is, old people, they don't have the choice to see through it because they're faced with terminal illnesses, and if it's between dying or trying out some new alternative medicine that may work, may not work, they're gonna try out the alternative medicine. They have no choice. And so they end up buying these ridiculous scams. Let's keep going through them. Nobel Prize winning chemist unlocks universal vaccine for cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and Alzheimer's. Survival rates soar 2,000% as tumors vanish, blood sugar plunges, arteries clear, and lost memories are restored. Yeah, so this is the kind of stuff that they want to get their hands in your grandparents' pants, basically. Get their wallets, open them up, take their money, and get out. And I'm just shocked no one else is talking about this. I mean, for all the people that talk about, phone call scams, stuff like this, I've never heard of this industry until basically I got sent some of these letters by people who are starting to become aware of, okay, fake guru, that's kind of the financial side of things. It's more like targeted at young people. There's also this thing going on with seniors. And I was like, I had never heard of this. These kind of like basically email scams. And they're making millions of dollars. There's this famous company, Agora, who's maybe the most famous example of this, there's several publishing companies that basically all they do is pump out newsletters. Some of them are financial, some of them are health related. Like for example, the Nazi one, that was done by Health Sense Media, which is like an arm of their little thing going on, and that's all they do. And they have sold, wait for it, billions of dollars of publications like this. Let me say that again, because it hurts my head to say it. Okay? Stuff just like this. Agora has sold stuff just like this. Just like the Nazis bury a cancer cure. They've sold $1 billion worth of these newsletters to people like your papa, your mama, your mimi, your mima, everybody. And it's gotta stop, guys. It's gotta stop. In the meantime, tell the seniors that this stuff is happening. They're getting robbed. They think this stuff is real because they get fed some sob story about some super doctor they've never heard of, and if you just buy this little book, you're gonna be saved all this stuff. And when you actually get the book, it's just stuff you could have Googled online. Like Dr. Otto Warburg, which is who they're talking about in this Nazi health pamphlet, is a German scientist that you can just Wikipedia. You can just Wikipedia all this stuff. And instead they just sell it to your parents, your grandparents for money to prey on the elderly and those with problems. So yeah, this is something I just have been wanting to talk about for a while, and I just wanted to kind of get it in one video. Let's go through, let's take down a few more while we're at it. This deadly sleeper virus triggers Alzheimer's. If you were born before 1967, there's a 90% chance you have it. Okay, so who are they targeting? Obviously, who are they targeting? That line right there tells you who they're targeting. Seniors, right? Because if you're born before 1967, you're like, oh gosh, I have it, I've got to read this thing. Here's how to deactivate the virus that is stealing your memories and reverse the damage that's already been done. I don't know what to tell you guys. Preying on people with Alzheimer's is maybe the lowest thing you can do. You might as well be slithering on the ground, eating dirt, because that's how low that is. Think about it. Think about making money by basically tricking people with Alzheimer's, right? Tricking them. So that's what this is. Nice. Dr. Rothfeld. Who's that? Nobody knows. Great. Just, more crap. I mean, I don't know if I have to tell you guys this, but you can't reverse Alzheimer's. It's really disgusting, but yeah, I'm just making this video to tell you guys that this thing exists. I never had heard of this. I didn't know how big of a problem this was. I didn't know the scope of this thing. I mean, people are making millions of dollars, billions of dollars, literally, off of your grandparents' AARP, off their retirement, off their Social Security. It's disgusting. Be safe out there. Don't give anybody your money. Pharma sucks, but there's a new breed of fake guru out there, and they're clever. They're smart. They know that you guys know that the people written the Lambos and all that kind of stuff, they're scams. So what do? Well, now they appeal to that by calling them out. They go, oh yeah, I'm here to call out the fake gurus, right? You saw this with KT9 early on.
Everyone is sitting in front of Lamborghinis and Ferraris and trying to get you to attend a free Amazon training. So we came to an alley.
Then we saw it with John Crestani.
There are more scams out there on the internet than there are legitimate opportunities by far.
But now we're faced with a new opponent. This is Kevin Zhang. He wants to put the fake gurus out of business.
For all of you gurus and self-proclaimed experts out there, you better watch out, because I'm about to give away more value in this free channel than all of your scammy courses combined. It's time to take that rented Lambo back to the lot.
Wow, look at Kevin really dunk on these gurus. He really doesn't like these fake gurus, huh? He's tired of their Lamborghinis.
In these next 2 days, I want you to really reflect on the goals that you have for your life and just...
Oh, wait, did you just notice that though? He talks about reflect on what you really want, and then he puts a Lamborghini and a mansion. So I want to answer a question today. Who is Kevin Zhang and what does he teach? On one of his funnels, where he's going to end up trying to sell you a $2,000 course, he says other gurus teach you how to build stores like these, and then it says scam, scam, scam. Don't build brands that scam. I'll show you why the websites above don't build customer trust and loyalty. Build brands that crush. The trust building websites below are what you'll create step by step with me. Okay, so he's tired of the scams. He's tired of the fake gurus. He's sick of it, guys. He's sick of it. He won't have it. That's why you need to go to him instead of the other gurus. Guru Kevin over the fake gurus, right? That's what he's trying to tell you. But what has Kevin Zhang actually done? Well, according to his Instagram, he's gone from $0 to $20 million in 1 year. But what shops did he build? What brands did he build? He wouldn't build a brand that scams. No. He would never do that. Well, we look at his hype video.
So I decided to share my secrets.
There's a little slip up at 59 where he shows us a web page, but we can actually zoom in. Computer, enhance. Newport Apparel.myshopify.com. That's one of his pages. Okay, well, who's that? Newport Apparel. Let's look at these people. Well, they're out of business and they have a customer complaint. Oh, this business has a pattern of complaints regarding refund and exchange issues? No, not Kevin. No, don't build brands that scam. But there's some related businesses. Who's this? Dixon Leather. Who's Dixon Leather? Well, look at this. A pattern of complaints regarding customer service issues. And there's several other web pages that are affiliated with this. They're all under the same address. That's why they're affiliated. They're all under 41 Logistics Boulevard, Walton, Kentucky. This one has a Better Business Bureau rating of F. This couldn't be related to Kevin Zhang, but oh my gosh, it is, because it's the same address as Newport Apparel, which Kevin Zhang is advertising in his own hype video. Huh, interesting. But there's another point of connection. On one of Kevin Zhang's Facebook pages, it says he owns Dixon Trading Company, LLC. Now, Dixon Trading Company, LLC, Dixon Leather, are they necessarily connected? No, until we go to Dixon Leather's webpage, which, by the way, is now deleted. All these websites are now closed. But if we go look at a screenshot that someone grabbed, it says this site is owned and operated by Dixon Trading Company, LLC. Huh, isn't that the page that Kevin Zhang owns? Yes, it is. This website is operated by Dixon Leather. So it's owned and operated by Dixon Trading Company, operated by Dixon Leather. Interesting, okay. My gosh, the walls are closing in on old Kevin Zhang here. What's going on? Tell me the truth.
For all of you gurus and self-proclaimed experts out there, you better watch out.
What's going on here? Well, Dixon Leather, if you guys don't know, was selling these leather jackets, right? Or leather belts, leather gloves, and their whole website was all about real leather, not bullshit, right? Because Kevin Zhang, right? This is right up Kevin Zhang's alley, saying that he's not going to give you the fake stuff, he's going to give you the real stuff, right?
For all of you gurus and self-proclaimed experts out there, you better watch out.
And all his advertising says these are leather jackets. But when you go and you look at the complaints, they're not leather. They're polyurethane, which is basically plastic. And it turns out the Better Business Bureau, yeah, they contacted him in July 2019 and told him to not call his stuff leather. But they never changed it. And although that website has now gone out of business, there's a new website that looks very similar. It's called longhornleather.shop. It's up right now. And what's the front page say? Leather, not bullshit. Oh yeah, Kevin. Kevin, don't build brands that scam. I'm not going to teach you how to build brands that scam, right? And what is it? Oh, it's the exact same thing as Dixon Leather. So in conclusion, guys, this guy who's saying, oh yeah, I'm putting the fake gurus out of business. I'm not going to teach you how to run scam stores, right? I'm not going to teach you how to run scam stores. This is Mr. Dixon Leather. This is Mr. Newport Apparel. This is Mr. Tactical Grizzly. All of them, terrible reviews on the Better Business Bureau. They're being investigated. They're shut down. This is who you're buying a course from, dude. These guys are ridiculous, man. Giving people polyurethane jackets under the guise of it being leather. It's absolute garbage. But you know what? If you decide to go and buy Kevin Zhang's course, because of course he is selling a course, $2,000, you can look forward to this.
A warning tonight, a variety of online retailers are using fake Illinois addresses. Consumers say these shops do not deliver merchandise, sends products made from poor quality material, or it even doesn't look like what's advertised. The Better Business Bureau had complaints about several websites.
Computer, enhance.
Unfortunately, the world of e-commerce education is full of scammers, pretenders, and outright liars. I'm sure you've seen their ads all over the place, and I bet...
Today we're talking about 5G BioShield, which is a website that recently popped up that calls itself the first to market full spectrum protection. This thing only has 128 megabytes in the USB, comes in at a price of £283, or roughly $300 if you want to buy it, which makes it the world's most expensive USB per the amount of storage you get. But that's not really why people are buying it. And people are snatching this thing up left and right. If you go to their testimonial page, they already have quite a few testimonials. The real reason people are buying it is because they claim to prevent 5G from touching you using force field technology. I mean, let's read it. It uses a nanolayer quantum holographic catalyzer technology for the balance and harmonization of the harmful effects of imbalanced electric radiation. The nanolayer operating diameter is either 8 to 40 meters. Now, that seems like a big difference, and that's why they show the small personal force field or the big force field for your house. And what they say the difference is if you plug in the USB or not. Apparently, this is a technology so advanced you don't even need it to be plugged in. It's working even if it's not plugged in. So if you're just carrying it in your pocket, you're protected from 5G. But then if you actually plug it in, you're even more protected from 5G. Can you believe it? Now, the reason this is the news is that this website, Pentest Partners, took the USB apart and found out that, hey, surprise, surprise, it's just a regular 128 megabyte USB key. It doesn't actually create magical force fields. And of course, in response to the serious allegations made against them, the 5G BioShield company said, they want to release the information that shows how this thing works. They want to release a great deal of technical information with plenty of backup historical research. But unfortunately for all of us, they're unable to disclose this sensitive information to third parties. God. They want to tell you how it works. Seriously, they do. They're dying to tell you how it works, but they can't because, it's IP, baby. It's IP. And I mean, yes, you can find the same USB stick online in AliExpress for $2 to $5. But you know what? What's the point of that? Because it doesn't have the nanocrystallography layered technology. How's it going to create a force field without that? All in all, guys, I mean, I just don't see it. People are calling these grifters. I don't see it. I mean, look, they're putting proprietary holographic layer technology on it. I don't understand how this is a scam at all. And if it doesn't work for you, just remember what they say on their website. Some users immediately feel the effects in the form of calm, harmony, and serenity. But other users, those of us who have been more exposed to the 5G, more physically impaired, will have to wait several days or even weeks for the body's revitalization mechanisms to be fully effective. Therefore, patience and perseverance are recommended to everyone in order to benefit maximally from the multiple effects generated by the 5G BioShield. You know what? I think that the $300 price point is definitely, obviously justified. The amount of technology that went into designing the sticker that they attach to this 5G USB stick. They may get it for $5 on AliExpress, but the sticker, boys, the nano layer holographic technology sticker, it's worth every penny. That's not to say that nobody's scamming you, though, because I want to show you today who you really need to watch out for. This is the look, there's 5G BioShield, but there's also these competitors who are trying to rip them off. This is a competitor. The Resotone Shield does not work. Scam alert. Now, the 5G BioShield works. I mean, look at their logos. Lion. Polar bear. Really, do you trust a polar bear over lion? These guys are these are the scammers. Legit, obviously scammers. Look at that USB key. Clearly of inferior quality. Not a 5G shield. 5G shield? Oh, of course. Obvious. I mean, look at this product. trustworthy product. That's smoke. Trustworthy. Scam. Trustworthy. Scam. I mean, look, they even copied their logo. I'm sickened by this. Who would do such a thing? Whatever you guys do, don't buy from the polar bear. And as always,
don't forget to smash like and subscribe.
Prepare yourselves. I'm about to defend crypto. Look, last week tonight, Bill Maher did a segment on cryptocurrency, which was so bad, so embarrassing, and simultaneously so smug that not only do I have to address the problems here, I also feel like I owe it to everyone to point out that Bill Maher is misinformed about every new technology that he's talked about.
Finally, new rule, and finally, new rule, nothing with crypto. And the title ever turns out good.
Now, if you don't know who he is, Bill Maher is a comedian specializing in politics. He runs a successful show on HBO, but he suffers from a chronic case of smugness. Now, it takes one to know one. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I suffer from an acute case now and then. But this guy takes it to another level. Like, he's like every first-time vegan who becomes insufferable for a few years while they think that they're instantly superior to other humans because they don't eat meat. But Bill's like that with like every topic. And usually this is fine because he's a comedian, so he's funny enough to get away with it. But the chronic smugness becomes a problem when he talks about things he knows nothing about, which turns out to be a lot of the time. So before we get into the crypto comments that Bill made and I do the unthinkable and defend cryptocurrencies, let's take a look down memory lane, okay, at some of Bill's older takes on new technology to get a glimpse maybe of where we're going.
New rule, stop giving me that pop-up ad for classmates.com. There's a reason you don't talk to people for 25 years. Because you don't particularly like them. Besides, I already know what the captain of the football team is doing these days. Mowing my lawn.
Yeah, guys, who would want to reconnect with people that they haven't seen in 20 years? Couldn't imagine a giant conglomeration coming out of that. A giant social media organization, the likes of which we've never seen before. Surely Bill Maher is right about this one. This social media thing is a thing of the past, never will catch on. Yeah, Bill was one of these social media skeptical guys who didn't think it would catch on, didn't think people would want to connect. Why connect with your fellow human? Yeah, this one was a complete disaster, but of course, it gets worse. He also thought that camera phones, oh man, how are those going to catch on?
I don't care that your phone takes pictures. It's a phone, not a Swiss Army knife. Great, now the annoying camera buff and the annoying cell phone prick can merge as one guy. Hey, if you can figure out how to make that camera phone play country western music real loud, we could call it a perfect storm of assholes.
Can you say camera phone in any more of a condescending way? But I gotta admit, look, he might be right on this one, because many years after this colossally stupid take, posting a picture from his camera phone, Bill Maher did seem to be right that maybe it is the perfect storm of assholes. But look, maybe you think that I'm just giving you old examples. I can give you fresh ones too. Look, here's Bill's take on people watching esports.
You think I'm out of it because I'm not on Twitch? Well, maybe I get Twitch, but I just think people watching other people play video games is a waste of time.
Holy bad take, Batman. I mean, this is ironic coming from a guy who likes baseball so much that he bought a stake in the Mets. And yeah, that's a random cheap shot against baseball, but I mean, you think I'm out of it because I don't watch baseball? I mean, maybe I get watching baseball, but I just think people watching other people play baseball is a waste of time. Wait, hold on. That didn't feel right. Thank you, my studio audience. Thank you for the reassurance, okay? It makes my self-esteem a lot higher now that you guys laugh at me. Okay, so now that the stage is set on Bill Maher's terrible takes on technology, now we can move to crypto, because this is what he said in a recent segment called Cryptocurrency Mania.
As far as I can tell, it's exactly the same as all the other cryptocurrencies because the whole thing is a joke. Do I need to spell this out? There is something inherently not credible about creating hundreds of billions in virtual wealth with nothing ever actually being accomplished and no actual product made or service rendered. It's like Tinkerbell's light. Its power source is based solely on enough children believing in it.
Hold on there with those relatable references there, Boomer. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be surprised that I'm defending cryptocurrency in the first place, because after all, I've called out the fact that probably 98% of all cryptos are going to be going to zero eventually, but it's actually entirely consistent with my opinion that can be true, and it also can be true that he has no idea what he's talking about. Because cryptocurrency is a new technology, and as with most new technologies, early iterations are going to be clunky, and there are gonna be a ton of scams. But you can't dismiss the whole underlying technology as fake funny money just because you don't understand it. Back in the early internet days, many people thought that the idea of the internet was just crazy, even late night hosts. But back then, they had the foresight to know that maybe they didn't know everything.
It's easy to criticize something you don't fully understand, which is my position here. Go ahead. But I can remember a couple of months ago, there was like a big breakthrough announcement that on the internet or on some computer deal, they were going to broadcast a baseball game. You could listen to a baseball game on your computer. And I just thought to myself, does radio ring a bell?
See, even though David Letterman is critical, he knows and admits that he doesn't understand the tech. Bill Maher, on the other hand, also admits that he doesn't understand the tech, but that must be because no one else does either.
I've read articles about cryptocurrency, I've had it explained to me, and I still don't get it, and neither do you.
Neither do you. Like, this guy has the strength of 1,000 Karens. He's got enough smugness to be the president of the PTA. Do you guys see what I'm talking about? Neither do you. Let's hear that again.
And I still don't get it, and neither do you.
Neither do you. Look, I'll admit it. Bill has one real argument against crypto besides the whole I don't get it thing that we're all laughing about here. See, his real point boils down to climate change and cryptocurrency's effect on it.
Bitcoin uses more energy than Netflix, Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, and Google combined. I mean, cars are bad for the climate, but at least they take you somewhere.
Now here, Bill actually has a point. Kind of. Bitcoin uses something called proof of work to establish consensus, which, to boil it down, is a super energy expensive way to verify transactions. Crypto mining has exploded in the last decade, and electricity use has gone with it, and people are rightfully skeptical of its long-term environmental impact. But what Bill doesn't understand is that many cryptos are moving or have already moved to a different consensus mechanism to combat this exact issue. It's something called proof of stake. Proof of stake allows you to vastly lower energy usage by changing the way you mine. Now, I'm not going to get too much into this because enough people have already done the job and done the research that Bill should have done before doing this video. It's really not the point of this video. The point is that smart people are already addressing this issue, which means that this big monologue moment at the end where he lectures anyone who cares about the climate and crypto and calls them all hypocrites, well, it means he's completely wrong about it.
Hip and progressive and big environmentalists. Bullshit. You're money-hungry opportunists, and you're not allowed to pretend you care about the environment. I know, melting ice caps can wait. Your Green New Deal involves cash. Social scientists call this cognitive dissonance, a disconnect between who you think you are and what you actually do. I call it being full of shit.
The holier than thou moment really doesn't land when you're that wrong about something, it turns out. Maybe we should finish our monologue here and try to be a little more accurate. But if I could boil this whole thing down, it really comes down to the fact that Bill Maher has a remarkable myopia when it comes to new technology. He seems to only be able to see it for what it is at that exact moment. He sees all the problems of crypto and labels the whole thing as fake funny money as a result. But what he doesn't see is what it could be. He's right about the fact that many current cryptocurrencies aren't going to make it. Just like the .coms, many versions of classmates.com are going to come and go. But there will be a facebook.com of the crypto era. And when that time comes, you're going to want to invest in it. So that's basically it. I hope.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about how to lose $1 billion. No, that's not clickbait. In the last video, if you remember, I showed you guys how this guy right here made $207 million by running a Ponzi scheme. And I asked you, what would happen if that guy was a little more clever, a little more polished, was a little bit smoother? Well, today we find out. Welcome to FutureNet. Guys, FutureNet is a weird crossbreed between a social network, a multi-level marketing scheme, as well as a Ponzi scheme. Now, it was extremely convoluted, and the first thing I want you guys to understand is that overcomplicating a Ponzi scheme is part of what makes it successful. Because in order to successfully fool people, you have to make it hard for them to understand what you're really doing. Like, have you ever wondered, if you've ever been involved in a multi-level marketing scheme, why everything's so complicated, why it's all so convoluted, why the downline reward structure is so strange? It's because if you guys understood it, you would know to run away. A successful scam is never easy to understand and to sort of penetrate the veil. It's always overly complicated, and FutureNet has that down.
Basic level, member $10, gold $50. Exclusive $100. Sapphire $500. For each purchase of the products, you will receive media points. Of up to 50% of the earnings of your direct partners.
But I know this is probably pretty complicated, and I do want you guys to understand it, to understand why this is a scam. So in essence, this is running the same scam that Traffic Monsoon was running, which is selling ad packs. Now, if you don't know what ad packs are, it's something that is acknowledged by the SEC to be a scam. Essentially, they tell you that you're going to be clicking on 10 ads a day, and if you buy these ad packs for like $50, in a period of months, you will share in the revenue of the site and make more money back than you put in.
By watching 10 advertisements daily, you participate in Enterprise's general turnover and profit. After watching 10 ads during subsequent 24 hours, every 15 minutes, you will receive your part of income to your online account.
So you put in $50, you click on 10 ads a day, you make $55 or $60 back. That was the main draw of FutureNet, and why so many people joined. They thought this is easy money. Where it becomes a Ponzi, though, is that those advertising dollars that FutureNet kept saying they had just were never there. They were always paying people with money that was put in by other ad pack users. And the problem is when you're making money, you always want to put more money back in, which is why I call this Ponzi scheme, the allure of this Ponzi scheme, the invisible money trap. Because what happens is they disguise it by paying you, right? So initially, everybody's winning. That's why these things blow up to be so big, because the bait is so good. You are making money at the beginning, you know? You make money, you put money back in. You make money, you put money back in. And that's always how it starts. And it always seems so beautiful and wonderful. And there's an incredible amount of optimism with these things, especially in the beginning, because everyone's just excited. Everyone's making money at the start of it. And you can see that in their promos.
Today it's our day, the day of our company.
And their events are lavish, they're insane, they're crazy, and they can afford such wild events because they're making so much money. And most of the people they're paying out to are just going and reinvesting that same money back into the site. That's why the bait of Ponzi schemes is so good. Now, we're going to talk a lot about victims in the next episode of this show, but for now, I just want to show you one story to explain exactly how this trap works. The invisible money trap. I have this chat with a victim pulled up in front of me where he's from a poor country. I'm going to be blocking his name. And he says, I lost $9,500. How can I get back my money? He doesn't speak English very well. Actually, a lot of the victims of these scams are overseas. But he says, how can I get back my money? And I asked him, how he lost so much money. Well, it comes out that he took out a bank loan for this and is now stuck basically trying to pay back $10,000 of a bank loan. And I asked him, why did you put in $10,000? And here was his response. He says he went in after his friend invested and the person was making money for 6 months. No problem with the company, all was good. Then he made his first transaction. He's skeptical. He only puts in $1,000. that was good. So he's making money from the site, and you can just feel that skepticism die away. The excitement builds up. They're throwing all these lavish events. The two inventors, who are Polish guys, they look clean cut, right? Their names are Stefan Morgenstern and Roman Zeman. And the way they talk, they're so charismatic. They're so charming. And so this guy eventually, he goes, okay, well, I'm making money from my $1,000. Let's go all in. So he takes out that bank loan, and ultimately, well, the thing went belly up. And that's what you find a lot, is people from foreign countries going into debt for what they think is going to be their golden ticket out of their poverty, which makes it so sad, because actually it becomes a way to keep poor people poor, right? Because they can never rise to the middle class if you're constantly scamming them with these things that are costing them thousands of dollars. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to get too much into the victim stories, because that's going to be for another episode. For now, we're talking about the architecture of a great Ponzi scheme. And I say great only in terms of its success, not in terms of the ethics. Obviously, this is incredibly unethical. I hope the people who started this go to prison, but I think it's important to focus on what made this so successful, because when you look at their events, these are not small hotel rooms full of people. These are arenas. In their 2018 Macau ceremony, the thing is like a Justin Bieber concert or something like that. These guys are rock stars, and they're acting like it. Look at this intro.
They're going to be transforming the future, and they're going to help all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, Roman Ziemian, Stephen Morgenstern.
I love how right off the bat it's basically Transformers. I mean seriously, this is like the Autobots are about to come in here. This is a little bit of a Fortnite thing, before Fortnite ever thought to do the wormhole. By the way, I'm not sure if that was a laugh from like the Roman and Stefan, or if the person who ripped this onto YouTube laughed while they saw that, because that wasn't me, for the record. Listen to that like Star Wars Planet of the Apes soundtrack going on there. I've just got to say, that's how to make a hell of an entrance.
And the thing is, that's not even unique. These people had a whole cult following. They even had music videos made about them.
Hey, living in our dreams. Hey, future net, unlimited life. We're changing people, flying from extra regions. We run the business, we show the world what's going on.
At its height, FutureNet felt like a rocket ship for people, and it was constantly rolling out new initiatives in order to propel that optimism, because even as advertisers weren't coming into the site like people were told they were, FutureNet was busy launching new products like Futuro, a crypto coin that ultimately took a nosedive along with the company. They were launching things like an AR video game to collect said cryptocurrency.
Use everything you have to fight with your opponent. But remember, they are extremely dangerous and will fight back.
They were running a foundation where they said they were helping humanity. And it was easy to get swept away in all of this and forget to think about the core business model and how this thing would last forever. Not to mention the celebrity endorsements they got were pretty spectacular. They sponsored a Red Bull racing team. They sponsored the Pope. Actually, scratch that part. They lied about getting sponsored by the Pope. They photoshopped their picture of their company onto a Lamborghini that the Pope was supposedly signing and ultimately auctioning off. Roman and Stefan were the rulers of their own little world for a small time. But all good things must come to an end. And when they do, what happens? What happened to Stefan, Roman, and what happened to the millions of people who were invested in FutureNet? Because at its peak, FutureNet had 3 million users, which if you assume that only a third of them were invested, and you assume that, well, maybe they were invested at about the same level that Traffic Monsoon got people in at, this company was making billions. And this is verified actually by the direct selling industry, who said that at its height, they were making over $1 billion a year in revenue. This company checked all the boxes in terms of preying on people's greed, preying on people's desperation, preying on people's willingness to believe in lavish lifestyle presentations like this. And when things come crashing down, when this illusion finally drops, things are about to get ugly.
Stawiamy postulaj tu mienie, udostępniamy, wysyłamy